start again?
Pick 375.
Take 3. Hello and welcome to episode 12 of the Milk Thistle podcast. My name is Kate and I am coming to you today from Arrowtown in New Zealand, where I currently live. And it is a beautiful sunny day out. I don't know if you can hear all the little birds chirping around, but they're very cute and being very playful in this very mild early winter that we're having. So this is a predominantly knitting podcast. I do some other crafts as well, but mostly I am a knitaholic. Thank you so much for checking out my podcast. If you have seen an episode previously and you've come back, welcome back. And if this is your first visit to my channel, very warm welcome, and I hope you enjoy today's episode. It is Friday the 26th of May today, and yeah, you can find me on Ravelry. We have a Ravelry group. There is a link to it in the thing down, you know, the thing where the links are. There is a link to the Ravelry group. Otherwise, you can search in the groups tab for Milk Thistle podcast and you will find our group over there. I am on Instagram as Milk Thistle Fiber Arts, and I do have an Etsy store which has been on holiday while I relocated from Australia to New Zealand, and it will be reopened on Monday, and that is Milk Thistle Fiber Arts. There is also a link below. I think that's all the administrative stuff, so maybe we should talk about knitting a little. Okay, so knitting stuff. Actually, tea stuff. I'm drinking tea today out of my very cool new mug, which I bought 2 of these yesterday at the Salvation Army store, which is like a charity thrift store. And I had a staff meeting this morning and I rocked up with my cup of tea, and one of the ladies I work with said, "Where did you get that cup from?" And I was like, "I bought it at Salvation Army yesterday, isn't it cute?" And she's like, "That's mine. I donated it." So I now have a mug from my friend Dottie, anyway, so I have 2 of these and I really love them, but she said that she'd been driving around with them in the back of her car for like 6 weeks before she remembered to donate them, so she would have just given it to me, but that's all right. It's pretty cute, and yeah, so we have 2 of those now, which I really like. Sorry, off topic. So English breakfast tea with a little milk. I'm pretty boring. That's my tea of choice. Knitting. So I finished some things, and I'm almost finished some things, and I've started some new things, and I didn't do any shopping, I don't think, but I did get some presents because I've had a birthday since the last time I saw you. So I'll show off all those things today. Let's start with the things I've finished. I finished my Princess Peach socks. I mean, they're not Princess Peach socks, but these are my socks that I knit out of Life in the Long Grass in the Jezebel color. So these I knit cuff down, and I started knitting them as Hermione's everyday socks, and with a 1x1 rib for the cuff, and then I put in my Fish Lips Kiss heel, and then after the heel I decided to do just these little cables across the front and made a little diamond pattern, and then just went into stockinette for the rest of the foot. And so I kind of think it looks like a little headdress type thing or crown that a princess would wear. So they're princess socks in my eyes. But yeah, really pretty color. And I knit these magic loop on 2mm needles, which is how I knit all my socks. And I think these were a 58 stitch cast on. Yeah, 58 stitches with a Fish Lips Kiss heel. But I've shown them for the last like 3 podcasts, so they're finally done, and they're super warm. I wore them the other day and washed them again, obviously, but they have been worn. So that is what I finished, and that's all I finished. But I'm really, really close to finishing something else, and if I didn't pull it out so many times, it would be done by now. So I'll show you that one. And this is in my really overstuffed Fringe Supply Co. field bag. I love this jumper. It's a jumper. And it is almost done. It's so close to being done. So the pattern is Trevor by Locatelli, and I'll show you the picture. So this is Hohi. Isn't she pretty? And she designs beautiful stuff. And so yeah, this is what my jumper is meant to look like. Now I'm knitting it in Brooklyn Tweed LOFT, and so that's their fingering weight wool. And yeah, they come in 50-gram balls, 275 yards per ball. This is the tag, which is very exciting. So it's in faded quilt and fossil. So this is my little swatch. So fossil is the neutral color and faded quilt is the blue, and they're both gorgeous tweedy amazingness, as Brooklyn Tweed always is. It's amazing. So my gauge swatch, I washed it, and the textural difference between washed and unwashed is crazy. It softens up so much, and it gets so much plumper, and I love it. Anyway, this jumper is kind of gigantic, and it's almost a tunic in design, but I'm fairly certain I made a size too big because I wanted it to have quite a bit of positive ease, but I think I overestimated just how much positive ease I actually wanted, and so it's huge. But it is so close to being finished. So it's knit top down, and as you can see, I've finished the body of the tunic, and I finished both sleeves. I finished this sleeve first, and excuse the bulges in there. I cut off all the ends so I could weave them in so they wouldn't be that little jog going down the side. So there's a whole bunch of ends in there to weave in. So it's meant to have a 4-inch 2x2 rib cuff on it. And so I put in a little thumb hole because I like to be able, because the cuffs come down to about here, so I like to be able to have my thumb out. But I've run out of wool, and this is my second cuff. It's not even an inch long, and that's all I've got in the color I need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back my other cuff and kind of equalize them out. So the other one will be shorter and this one will be longer. So they'll both work out to be about 2.5 inches. But even then, there is, I don't even know how to describe how much, like, it needs to be taken in about this much on the side, basically, of the tunic. So I'm going to wash it. I'm going to block it. I'm going to wear it. And then if I still don't like it, I'm going to frog it, which will break my heart because there's so much work in it. But the wool is so lovely. I don't want to waste it in a garment that I'm not going to wear. But like I said, I'm going to wash it and wear it first because it's so pretty. I mean, I really, really want it to be lovely, but don't want to get ahead of myself. But like, as you can see, it's really This is too wide for me. Like, I don't know. Anyway, I think I'd rather it longer rather than wider. So I might even, if I do end up pulling it back, I will, I don't even know if I'd have to pull it back the whole way, or if I could just pull it back to where I separated for the sleeves and leave the sleeves done, and then make it narrower, because it's not too baggy around the shoulders. Anyway, that is hypothetical thinking for a problem that may not even arise. I might wash it and block it and love it and wear it forever. But yeah, I loved knitting it. The wool is so nice to knit with, and the pattern was beautifully written. It's really easy to follow. There's a couple of interesting tweaks to make it quite a, a structurally interesting garment. So the, short row shaping and things like that are really well written, and I like the way they look. I've never knit a Joji Locatelli pattern before, but I was really impressed by it, and I'll definitely knit another one. I actually bought the whole, this comes from a series, and it's I can't remember what the series is called, but I'll put a link down below to the pattern page on Ravelry for the collection, and all the jumpers are really lovely, so maybe I'll make another one out of that. But yeah, it was actually, I'll show you what I did. So when I was knitting this, I'm not sure what it was, but I was pushing on the on my needle and hurting my finger. So I was knitting it on 3.25 millimeter needles for the majority of, for the body, and then 2.75 for the ribbing. But I was using my Knit Pro carbons in the 3.25 millimeter, and they're interchangeable, and I was finding that it was really stabbing into my thumb. And so, because I was knitting in the round in one direction, I liked having the pointiness to pick up the stitches, but I didn't really need the pointiness on the needle that I was knitting the stitches from, if that makes sense. Right needle pointy, left needle didn't need to be, so I didn't have to stab my thumb so much. So I changed out this side to be a Knit Pro Nova, which I also have in a 3.25 millimeter needle. And so even though they were different needles, same size, fit on the same cord, and my finger didn't get stabbed anymore. So I really liked it. It worked really well for me, and I didn't find that there was a big difference in, I know, the carbons obviously have a little more drag in the middle than the Novas, but they have the point that I like. So anyway, it worked for me. And yeah, so if you're getting stabbed by your needles and you're on an interchangeable set and you can do that, yeah, you can change one of the tips, then give it a go. As long as you've got the same size, it doesn't really make that big a difference. It just saves your thumb. I really should just learn not to use my thumb to stab into my needles, but this works as well. And then for the ribbing, oh my gosh, I just hit myself in the eye with my needles. Oh, I'm doing well today. These are higher sharps, and they are, sorry, they're not 2.75. These are 2.5 millimeter higher sharps, and that is a US 1.5. Yeah, I really like these needles. They have a fun cord. It's nice and blue, but it's flexy, and yeah, I really like them. But again, they are sharp, so I have to be conscious not to stab my thumb on the end of them, or otherwise my thumb gets sore, and then, it's no fun knitting with sore fingers. But this is, now that I've rambled on about needles and whatnot, this is my Trevor jumper. So that will be done by the next episode. And hopefully I love it. I mean, I do love it, but hopefully I want to wear it. Because I'm a little iffy about how it's going to go once it's blocked. We'll see. Hopefully it doesn't get wider, it just gets longer. And I will stretch it out to block it to more of the dimensions that I would like. Yeah, so that is that project. What else have I been working on? I cast on a new pair of socks. So this is a Zauberball Crazy by Chopel. And it's made in Germany. It is 75% superwash wool. Yeah, virgin wool. And 25% nylon. 100 gram ball, 420 meters. And they're really good. So the ball is, can we see this? Are we focusing? I need Caleb. So if you can see, it's got all these crazy colors in there. And yeah, it's really beautiful. But all the little tags come with these kind of gauges to show, not gauges, you know, general indication of how I hope that's showing up and not just really blown out. It is quite bright out here today, sorry. Might have to move, the sun's moving a bit. What was I saying? Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm doing well. So, it's hard to tell what pattern this is going to come out like. So they tell you on the tag. Yeah, don't know why it took me so long to say that, but it did. Here's my sock. So, can you see at all? Or is the sun? Well, you can see. He's a little 2x2 rib, and he's going to be a vanilla sock. So, it's very, very dark. So, now that I've shown you that, I'm wondering if you could even see the ball. Hopefully, when I'm watching this back, it's not just me sitting here with a whole bunch of bright lights. But yeah, so these are my new socks. That's all I've got. But those are the ones that I'm working on at the moment. Welcome back. Took a tea break. I now have another hot cup of tea. Caleb set a fire. Rearranged the camera. Hopefully you'll be able to see a little better. And I have one more work in progress to show you. It is another jumper. And it was the land of the sleeves around here for about a week. But this one is also up to the sleeves. So I have the whole body, one sleeve, and no needles in it. I need to take the other sleeve off hold. So this is a jumper that I don't know who it's for. I was making it for myself, and then my brother saw it, and he liked the look of it, so I just made it a little bigger. So if he wants it, he can have it, or I'll wear it, or we'll share it, because that's totally going to work. We live in different countries, but we're going to share a jumper. Maybe I'll wear it for a little bit and I'll give it to him. Who knows? We'll swap it at Christmas time. Anyway, I am knitting a variation on the flax cardigan it's designed by Tin Can Knits. It's a free pattern and it's fantastic. It goes from newborn to, you know, tall human men size. So I'm knitting this out of some Knit Picks Brava worsted in the asphalt heather colorway. Oh my goodness, creating ambiance. I'm in like a zombie movie over here. I'm getting smoked out. It's so funny. Sorry, Caleb's just cackling in the background. Anyway, so smoky here in Arrowtown today. Right. The flax cardigan has a garter panel that runs down the side. It's a top-down raglan style jumper with a garter panel. But instead of the garter panel, I put now, can you see this? Start in the middle. I can't see what I'm doing, so I hope you can see what I'm doing. I put a cable down the side. I'm not sure how this is going to go with the high contrast between the white smoke and the black charcoal grey jumper, but anyway, basically super comfy, big cozy cuddly jumper that I'm really excited to wear, with just some really simple cables down the side, and that's about it. Knitting it on 4.5mm Addy Turbo lace circular needles, and my neighbour's calling their dog. Dropping my needles, having a good day. Now my housemate's dog's barking. So these are the needles I'm using. This is the 4.5mm Addy lace needle. This is a higher, not a sharp. Oh, maybe it's not. It's not. It's an Addy 4mm. Yeah, and that's what I'm using for the ribbing. I'm so good at podcasting. Can't you tell? So professional. Anyway, those are all the things that I'm working on currently. Now, I made one more thing this week. Isn't he cute? He's a little book just made out of some felt. And in my book, I have pages, but on my pages, I have nothing. No, it's a needle book. So I just cut some tiny little buttons in different colored felt, and I have a button on the back with just a little pull string that wraps around one of the buttons on the front, so that secures it closed. And then I just put a little ribbon down the back. It is not the most neatly stitched thing I've ever done, but I am making a project which I'll show you when it's finished. It's a wedding present for a friend of mine, so I don't want to share it until I've given it to her, so I'll do a little segment, pre-record it before. I don't think my neighbours found their dog yet, but anyway, I needed something to hold my needles in, so I made this in conjunction with her wedding present, but I'll show you that once I give it to her. I don't want to spoil the surprise just in case she stumbles across this. But yeah, so those, now I think I've shown you everything I've worked on since the last time I saw you. Some things that I have been given since the last time I saw you. I have some exciting stuff. So like I mentioned, I had a birthday shortly after I last spoke to you, and I got some very cool presents. I got this, I kept it in its bag because I really liked the packaging. So it's Jezebel B needlework, and it is, yeah, a knitting bag, and this is from my mum and dad. So I kept all the packaging all nicely so I could show it to you, but this is the bag. It's beautiful. So it's a light denim on the outside with her label there, just a little leather detail on this side, and it's of the style that you can wear it over your arm and knit straight out of it, which I really like. Yeah, it's so beautiful and so perfect. Thank you, Mom and Dad. I love it. Also from Mom and Dad, they gave me lookbook number 2, Portland and Midcoast, Maine by hand magazine, which is really lovely. it's location based for its theme and has articles on a range of different fiber related things. So it's not just knitwear designers, but also yarn dyers and people who process wool, and like all kinds of mills and photographers, and there's beautiful patterns in here. This is my next, how can I show this without showing? So this is the yoke of the colorwork jumper that I want to make next. It's really beautiful. It is by Jennifer Steingass. Sorry if I just butchered your name. I don't know if you would be watching me, but if you are, I'm so sorry. Your jumper is beautiful though. I really, really like it. So it's got, I don't want to give away the things, but if you can see, the patterning is, so it's not just a colorwork yoke, but the same detail is slightly on the cuffs and around the bottom of the jumper, and I just think that's a really beautiful touch. So I'm going to make one of those for myself next. I'm all about the garments at the moment. If you can't tell, I want all the warm things because it's starting to get really cold here, which is exciting. It snowed the other day. It was beautiful. If I didn't put it in at the beginning, it'll be at the end, but there were some beautiful little birds playing in the trees that were all covered in snow, and they were singing, and it was so picturesque, and yeah, just made me really, really happy. But yeah, this magazine is beautiful and was part of my birthday present from my mum and dad as well. And the other thing I got from my mum and dad, it's not knitting related, but it is the Monday Morning Cooking Club's new cookbook that's called It's All About the Food. So this is a group of women who live in Sydney in Australia, and there's a plane going over me. Hopefully that's not too loud. So they live in Australia, and they started a cooking club where they met up every Monday. So Monday Morning Cooking Club, that's the group's name. And they collected stories and recipes. So this is their third cookbook, and all the recipes that I've made out of any of their books have been fantastic. They're all from family members and friends, and basically the idea for the first cookbook was to collect recipes that were the best of the best from their family friends. And every recipe comes in with a story, and then they test it and they put it together, and their favorites got put into I'm so sorry, that smoke is starting to get to me. And they put it into their first cookbook. And like I said, this is their third, but all the recipes are tested by them together. I'm fairly certain it's still on a Monday morning, and it's just a really awesome group of women collecting family histories and recipes that had been passed down from generation to generation. And yeah, they're beautiful recipes and beautiful book. I'll see. Give you. So once again, that's the front, and I mean, look. Wouldn't you have loved to be there on this day they took this picture? Look how many different baked awesomeness cakes they made. Oh my goodness. Yum. I mean, they're not even cakes, they're all like desserts. Anyway. So it is, so every recipe up the top comes with the little story and the history of where it's from. Then there's like a little bio for every member of the group in this book, and oh my goodness, no, it's gonna make me really hungry. I have to put it away, but highly recommend all three of their books. So yeah, that was my birthday spoiling from my parents, which was really nice. I felt very, very special. I actually flew back to Australia for the weekend of my birthday. It was the friend who I'm making the gift for her wedding. It was her hen's weekend, or bachelorette weekend. over my birthday, and so I flew home and I got to spend a night with my family, and my mum made me a spectacular cake. Insert video here. Wasn't it amazing? Like, she's so talented, and it was delicious. Yeah, it was a really, really lovely weekend, so it was nice to be able to be surrounded by so many people I loved for my birthday, and I felt very, very special. Yeah, so those were my birthday presents. Then there are 2 other things that I got. I don't know if you can hear that bird. Sorry, I looked up because it's sitting right in the tree above me, and it's having a good old time up there. I won a competition. How cool is that? I never win competitions. I was so excited. So Amber from Makers Haven held a giveaway to celebrate her new tonal range on Instagram, and I entered and I won. I got my wall. Isn't it beautiful? So I've left it all tied up as it came, but she let me pick the color I wanted, and I got 2 skeins of it. This is called Wild and Free. It's on her simple sock base, which is 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. It's a 2-ply, 400 yards for 100 grams. Look at this color. I should undo it now that you've seen it being all cute and wrapped up with beautiful. I'm just so distracted and so excited. Check out this mini skein. Look at all the colors in there. There's purples and blues and this beautiful like sandy mustard. Oh my goodness. This is spectacular. But look at this emerald green amazingness. Isn't this just spectacular? I love the color, and there's just the tiniest little hints of that rusty yellow mustard color, which is just divine in there. I don't know if you can see those little flecks, but this is really beautiful. Amber, you did a great job, and thank you so much. I was so excited. I did like a little happy dance around my kitchen when I found out I won, and anyway, sorry. I'll be reserved and professional, but it's really pretty. Yeah, so I'm gonna learn how to brioche using this. I think I'm gonna make the Marley shawl by Andrea Mowry because it seems like a pretty good beginner shawl. And I think I'm gonna pair this with a really light gray, which I might dye. Ooh, I could do that this afternoon. No, must finish jumpers first, then cast on shawls. So thank you, Amber, for this amazingly generous giveaway. I really, really love it. Her yarns are spectacular. She also has a really, really sweet podcast. It's one of my favorites. So, Makers Haven, yarn dyer, podcaster, awesome lady all around. So thank you, that was really generous of you. The other wool yarn that I have got since I last saw you is a club color from the Cozy Knitter. So Christina is the lady who is the dyer, and this is her company. She also has the Dye Another Day podcast with Amanda, who is the Yarn Enabler. I love their podcast, they're so funny. But this is a club color, but I think it's from a while ago because it went to Australia and then waited there for me to pick it up for a while. I have a feeling this is like from March or something, so I don't think I'm going to be ruining this for anyone. It's called After the Rain. Look at the purple. Isn't it pretty? I'm so excited. They're going to be they just look like lavender fields. So pretty. So, I'm going to cast these socks on, I think. These will be my next socks, maybe. I love self-strapping wool, but yeah. Super beautiful grays, purples, and lavenders, and lilacs. Oh, so gorgeous. So those are my new toys. I think, sorry, I'm looking at my notebook that tells me what I'm meant to tell you about, and I think I've told you about all the things that I'm meant to tell you about. It's pretty good of me. Caleb's laughing at me in the background. Do you want to come tell them about your knitting?
Yeah, of course.
Caleb mastered the knit stitch.
I tried.
Come on.
Still haven't quite figured out the purl, but
To be fair, we've been super busy and I haven't actually taught him how to purl yet. But
just a little busy.
a little busy. So you got the cast on down
Yep.
and
Yep.
the knit
Casting
stitch.
on was really confusing to visually watch, but as soon as you kind of get your hands on it, it comes together a little bit. Still not exactly the most consistent with the tightness of the cast-ons, but my knitting smoothed out. A metric
Lot?
metric lot. Sorry, PG show, I forget. And now I just need to learn to purl, which we just haven't found the time for since.
And do you want to talk about how you worked out? So he was knitting magic loop. For anyone who missed last week's episode, this is Caleb. He learned how to knit on last week's episode. Or last week. It was like a month ago.
Probably
last
close.
month's episode. And he was having trouble. He was knitting magic loop. And he was having trouble with the tension on the first stitch of
The next
the
row.
next row. So as he was pulling the needles through, the stitches weren't going on the needles.
Yeah. So I was tightening it up a bit too much when I pulled it off the last stitch and came it back around. When I was starting the first stitch, I'd kind of cinch it up a little bit, and it was hellish.
Yeah, so it was, a lot of people get ladders down the side of their work when they're knitting magic loop, but what he was doing was, rather than having these stitches be really loose, as he was starting the next round, he was pulling his wool really, really tight. So the last stitch on the previous needle was going really, really, really tight, and he was just making
Really
it
tight.
impossible to move the needles through.
Yeah.
But
It's sorted.
it's sorted, and he's got his tension down,
Yep.
and yeah, got really fast too, actually. So
Yeah, it was going at a pretty good clip. I'm excited to learn the purl. It'll probably slow me right back down trying to figure out the changeover, but it's pretty fun. I can't wait to start doing super ultra practical stuff. You know, like beanies or jumpers or nets, fishing nets. I'll make fishing nets. All the tuna you can eat.
we live in the mountains. I don't know where he thinks he's gonna get this tuna from.
I'm not. Just sound like a really good story.
Okay,
Perfect.
cool.
Well, I'm going to get back to building a little stone wall on the side of the greenhouse, and that's going to take me about 3.5 years because I've never built one. But should be all right. Hopefully it won't fall, and it'll keep our plants nice and warm this winter.
Bye. Thanks. Okay, you make me blush. Okay. So that's it. That's all we've got for this time. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel, and I hope you enjoyed today's content. Feel free to give me a little thumbs up or subscribe if you want to know when my next video goes up. I'm pretty sporadic about these types of things. It's really, when we have time, life's been a little crazy. Moving to another country and setting things up really takes it out of you, but we're getting settled now, which is nice. And hopefully it'll be a little more regular. Like I said, the Etsy shop will be open on Monday, so in a couple of days. And yeah, the links to all the things are below, but if you want to chat to me about anything, feel free. I'm terrible at Ravelry. Like, I really try, and I'm really bad. I need to try harder. I don't need to try, I need to do. Anyway, that aside, Instagram, probably a better way to get hold of me, or just leave me a comment below, and I check them, I answer them, and I really love getting all your feedback. So thank you for spending a little bit of time with me today. I know there are some awesome podcasts out there. I mentioned a couple today, and so I completely get that your podcasting schedule might be really full, so I really appreciate you spending some time with me. But enjoy your knitting until I next see you, and bye. Now this is the very important part of the podcast where you stand on the table and take a picture of the giant mess that you've made while sitting outside.